Welcome back to Buy or Buy. Today we're looking at the 2003 to 2009 Mercedes E500 and E550. This is the W211, the 9th generation E-Class packing serious V8 power. Honestly, it's the forgotten German flagship that just depreciated way harder than its S-Class big brother. And it's actually the only Mercedes V8 sedan of its era with two completely different engines swapped in right mid-cycle. You could get it as a 4-door sedan or a 5-door wagon. Under the hood, you had the M113 5.0-liter V8 in the E500 from 2003 to 2006. Then, they bumped it up to the M273 5.5-liter V8 in the E550 from 2007 to 2009. You're looking at either a 5-speed or 7-speed automatic, rear-wheel drive, or 4MATIC, and all of them were proudly built in Sindelfingen, Germany.
Here's the spec hook. You've got a 302 horsepower E500 or a massive 382 in the E55. That drops your 0 to 60 time from a base 5.7 seconds down to 5 flat with the bigger engine. We're talking 56 grand brand new, completely tanking to just 7 grand used. You get AIRMATIC air suspension, but watch out because you also get SBC brakes on the pre-2007s with a mandatory recall. It is truly the forgotten German V8 flagship.
Section 1. Who and cross-shop. Okay, let's dive into this
and figure out exactly who is hunting for this specific era of E-Class today. We're talking about German luxury V8 bargain hunters scouring that $7,000 to $12,000 price range. It's for the AIRMATIC suspension fans and buyers who want S-Class style but only have E-Class money. It's for used Mercedes enthusiasts who are actually willing to get their hands dirty and wrench. Plus, you got your M113 engine cult followers who just want a bulletproof bargain V8, or really anyone wanting a Sindelfingen-built German flagship for literally less than the cost of a used Toyota Camry.
Now, if you're shopping this batch, what else are you looking at? You've got the Lincoln Town Car, which is your body-on-frame American alternative. Then there's the Cadillac DTS from this batch, bringing that front-wheel drive North Star headache into the mix. You could look at the Chrysler 300C Hemi, the American car that actually borrowed the W211's rear axle, and of course the Infiniti M45 representing the bulletproof Japanese V8 in this batch. Bottom line, the W211 stands completely alone here because of its genuine German chassis dynamics and authentic Sindelfingen flagship status for sub 10 grand.
Section 2. The Gems. And this brilliantly illustrates the dramatic mid-cycle mechanical overhaul we saw. It's really a tale of two eras. First up, Era 1, the 2003 to 2006 E500. This is the defining bulletproof Mercedes V8, the M113 5.0-liter. It shares a family tree with heavy hitters like the E55 AMG, SL55 AMG, and the S500. It carries a legendary 250,000-plus mile reputation, pushing out 302 horsepower and 339 pound-feet of torque through a 5-speed 5G Tronic gearbox. Then you have Era 2, the 2007 to 2009 E550. This is the much more powerful successor, the M273 5.5-liter V8, jumping the output to an absolute massive 382 horsepower and 391 pound-feet of torque. That's paired up with the 7-speed 7G Tronic. Both eras, by the way, gave you the choice of rear-wheel drive or 4MATIC AWD.
Now, moving beyond the engine, the W211 platform made AIRMATIC air suspension standard. This completely defines its luxury heritage, complete with ADS, adaptive damping. Inside its peak 2000s Mercedes, you get premium leather with multi-contour adjustment, gorgeous burl walnut wood trim, dual-zone climate, and the COMAND APS infotainment system. You could even option premium Bose or Harman Kardon audio and Distronic adaptive cruise. It's like a giant puzzle of luxury parts shared right across the W211, the W219 CLS, and the W220 S-Class, all rolling out of that historic Mercedes-Benz Sindelfingen plant in Germany.
But to put the economics into perspective, the drop is just staggering. We are talking about a car that launched at $56,170 in 2003, climbed to a $62,450 final MSRP in 2009, and now you're picking these up for just $5,000 to $13,000 used in 2016. Bottom line, this represents a uniquely steep depreciation entry point to get yourself into a historic German flagship V8 sedan.
Section 3. The Issues.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the documented deal breaker on those pre-2007 models, the Sensotronic Brake Control, or SBC. This brake-by-wire system fails in a very specific, terrifying cascade. What happens is, the hydraulic SBC pump motor hits a high actuation count and it just fatigues and outright fails. Your dash lights up with a bright red visit workshop warning and you experience a terrifying loss of power brake assist. Yes, there was a mandatory 2004-5-0014 recall inspection and replacement, but honestly, post-recall failures are still highly common. Luckily, the 2007 and newer facelifted cars went back to conventional brakes.
If that SBC unit fails out of warranty on a 2003 to 2006 model, a full unit replacement is going to set you back a staggering $3,000 to $5,000. That is absolutely the defining deal breaker for pre-2007 purchases right there. What about other critical failures? Well, you absolutely must verify the TSB for the M272 and M273 balance shaft and timing chain defects that plagued early 2003 and 2007 builds. Also on those 2007 E550s, the M273 V8 is famous for camshaft adjuster failures. It'll throw P0017 and P0018 codes, and that requires a $1,500 to $3,000 redesign fix. And of course, the AIRMATIC suspension. The air struts leak and the compressors burn out right around 100,000 to 150,000 miles. Make no mistake, all four corners will eventually fail, costing you $800 to $1,500 per strut for OEM parts, or $400 to $800 if you go with AIRMATIC aftermarket replacements.
Then we have the moderate annoyances. The hydraulic fluid-filled engine mounts leak and collapse by 80,000 miles. That's $300 to $600 for an OEM pair. The plastic intake manifold swirl flap actuator can break, throwing P2004 through P2015 codes, costing another $400 to $800. You're also looking at valve cover gasket leaks, blower motor regulators dying for $200 to $400, dead pixel cluster fade, and you absolutely have to run premium 91 plus octane fuel. Throw in some finicky oxygen and MAP sensors, sluggish command units, and interior issues like leather bolster wear, torn sunroof shades, and headliners sagging in hot climates. Bottom line, the repair bills on these can easily eclipse the entire purchase price of a car if you buy a bad example.
Section 4. Verdict: maybe.
So the crucial point is that this is a highly conditional maybe. The 2003 to 2009 Mercedes E500 and E550 W211 V8 really is the forgotten German flagship sedan. I mean, you get AIRMATIC, that bulletproof M113 V8 on the early cars, or a massive 382 horsepower M273 V8 on the facelifted ones, all with that legendary Sindelfingen built quality for around $7,000 used. But that SBC brake-by-wire system on the 2003 to 2006 models is a fully documented deal breaker if there's no recall history.
Let's move to and see how this builds into your actual buying strategy. Maybe you buy a 2007 to 2009 E550 facelift for under $11,000 with conventional brakes, meaning no SBC to worry about. But you have to ensure the AIRMATIC is functional or recently rebuilt, the camshaft adjuster TSB is completed, the engine mounts replaced, and it boasts a full Mercedes service history. Alternatively, maybe you grab a clean 2005 to 2006 E500 for under $8,000, but only if that SBC unit was replaced and you have the documented Mercedes recall completion in your hand.
Now for the exact opposite. You absolutely say bye to any pre-2007 model with no SBC recall paperwork. That is literally statistical brake roulette pending. Say bye to any car with a sagging AIRMATIC corner, any E55 throwing active P0017 or P008 codes for camshaft adjuster failure, or just any neglected example sitting over 150,000 miles. Look, you can always cross-shop the Infiniti M45 from this batch for a bulletproof Japanese V8 alternative. Bottom line, the W211 is the only option with that authentic German chassis, AIRMATIC, and true Sindelfingen flagship status for under $10,000.
So, I'll leave you with this final thought. Are you ready to embrace true flagship luxury and roll the dice on Sindelfingen's finest? Or, to put it another way, does the lure of a $7,000 bargain actually outweigh the inevitable German maintenance tax? Let us know what you think. Thanks for tuning into this explainer, and we'll catch you on the next one.